This one is highly regarded as probably the best movie in the franchise. Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back was released in 1980, directed by Irvin Kershner, starring Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, Peter Mayhew, Billy D. Williams, James Earl Jones, Anthony Daniels. Once again, big cast, much like every Star Wars movie, it's got a big cast. And like I said, this is regarded by a lot of Star Wars fans as the best movie in the franchise, and I can see why. So let's go ahead and jump into it with the good. And like the original Star Wars, there's a lot that I love in this movie. First of all, Mark Hamill. I loved him in the original, but I feel he was very much improved in this movie. I really love the character growth he goes through from the impatient kid that was in A New Hope. He starts out once again as that character, but he grows more into this person willing to risk his own life to save his friends near the end of the movie. And I really love just where we pick up with this character. Yes, he's still the impatient kid, but he's got a little more courage to him. He's able to do things on his own. And I really love Harrison Ford as Han Solo. Once again, he has quite a bit of good character development throughout this film as well, because he starts out as the same Han kind of from the original movie, but he does grow more to care about his friends in the Rebel Alliance, and I really loved that character development that he goes through. Then you have Carrie Fisher as Leia, and she's great, as always. I really love the chemistry between her and Harrison Ford. Han and Leia are easily my favorite Star Wars couple. My second favorite I'll get to later on sometime in these reviews. But I just really love Han and Leia. They're both of their loud personalities constantly clashing with each other. It's absolutely terrific. A character I feel like a complete dumbass for forgetting to mention in my last review, but Chewbacca is an absolutely terrific character. I feel like a complete idiot for forgetting to mention him in my review for the original movie, but he is great in that movie and also in this movie as well. Then you got Darth Vader as well. He's great. James Earl Jones does a great job as this character, delivering the lines. He's got such a sinister, menacing aura about him, especially in his voice. We're introduced to a few new characters in this movie. First of all, we're introduced to Yoda, who was in the prequels, but this is, once again, like Obi-Wan in the original, this is the first canonical appearance of Yoda, because this was the first movie released to feature Yoda. But I absolutely love Yoda and the training that he goes through with Luke, the training he puts him through. I just really love those sequences. And he's actually got a really cool speech about the Force that he gives to Luke later on in the movie. And I just really love that scene when Yoda lifts Luke's X-Wing out of the swamp with the Force. Once again, his speech is terrific. The musical score that accompanies that scene, absolutely beautiful. And then we get Boba Fett introduced in this movie, who is a huge fan favorite character among a lot of Star Wars fans. Me personally, I didn't really get around to really loving Boba Fett until The Mandalorian brought him in and he got his own spin-off Book of Boba Fett. But I've always liked Boba Fett, but I didn't love him until Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. But I thought he's a really cool character. I love his introduction in this movie. And then finally, what really seals the deal with introduced characters in this movie, for me, is it introduces my favorite Star Wars character of all time in Lando Calrissian, played perfectly by Billy D. Williams. I just absolutely love this character. He's such a scoundrel. He's a double crosser. He's really no good at first, but I just love the little bit of character development he gets within this movie. He's introduced, and we think he's gonna come to blows with Han because of the way he's confronting him on the platform, but then we get later on in the movie he betrays Han and sells them out to the Empire, but it turns out that he was always planning on helping them get out. And I just really love the way Billy D. Williams plays this character. He's such a smooth talker. He's just a really fun character who I'm glad gets more character development in the next movie after this. And then aside from the characters, we hit some really good action sequences, and the story is really good. Yeah, you have two separate stories going on at the same time. You have Han, Leia, Chewbacca, C-3PO trying to escape the Empire, but their hyperdrive is broken, so they're basically just in a super long chase throughout the galaxy trying to get away, which is where Boba Fett comes in, because Darth Vader hires Boba Fett to try and find them for him. And then you have the other plot in this movie where Luke goes to Dagobah to find Yoda to be trained by him. I really love how these two stories intersect in the third act of the film. And I really love the action sequences. You start out with this really big action scene on Hoth where the Empire attacks the Rebel base. I thought that was just a super fun battle sequence and one of my personal favorite battle sequences in Star Wars. And then you have a few space battles with Han Solo in the Millennium Falcon taking on some TIE fighters. And then you have the scene where Lando helps them escape from Cloud City. That's a pretty fun stealth / action scene within the movie. And then you get the scene that the entire movie had been building up to with Luke versus Darth Vader on Cloud City. And I love the whole atmosphere and the stakes of that battle. I think it's very, very well done. And of course, at the end of the battle, you get the scene where Luke gets his hand cut off. And you get that iconic line, that scene where Luke is hanging off the scaffolding and Darth Vader tells him, "Obi-Wan never told you the truth about your father." And Luke says, "I know you killed him." And you get that iconic line where Darth Vader just says, "No, I am your father." It's such an iconic line. It's one of the greatest plot twists in film history. And I really cannot wait until my son is older to actually appreciate these movies so I can show him these and he can actually appreciate that plot twist, because I did recently rewatch all the movies, but he's 8 months old. He's not gonna understand the complexity of the situation, but I just really, really love this scene. It's such a terrific reveal, even all these years later. I absolutely love it to death. Finally, for the good, I have to say the special edition changes in this movie, I actually like them. First, there's only a couple that I really know of, and first of all, they added Ian McDiarmid as the Emperor, where in the original version they had someone else playing the Emperor, and it just looked kind of odd. I really liked the addition of Ian McDiarmid as the Emperor in this movie. And then they changed Boba Fett, his voice. Someone else voiced him in the original trilogy when they were first released. They replaced that voice with Tamora Morrison, which, yeah, I get some people say it's kind of disrespectful because they're basically just erasing the original person that played Boba Fett. But I don't know, it just makes more canonical sense since Boba Fett is a clone of Jango Fett, but I did like the original guy's lines, but I didn't mind adding Tamora Morrison because it just makes the canonical sense. That's about all for the good. Let's go ahead and move on to the bad. And I really have nothing with this one. So let's go ahead and get into the final thoughts. Empire Strikes Back is an amazing movie, beginning to end. And this is easily the greatest sequel ever made, in my opinion. And this is the blueprint that sequels should follow, because it takes everything great about the previous movie and makes it even better. And I will always stand by that opinion that this is the sequel all sequels should strive to be, because this is one of those very, very rare sequels where it's better than the original. Empire Strikes Back is an absolutely terrific movie, and I am going to give it a 10 out of 10. So that was my thoughts on Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back. Have you seen this movie? Let me know down in the comments what you thought about it. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you all next time.